Today we're tackling something a little different. We're going to be looking at President Biden's memorandum on AI and national security.
Okay.
And I know you might be thinking,
Yeah.
AI, national security, what does this have to do with libraries?
Right.
But trust me on this one.
Yeah.
This memo has some pretty surprising things to say about the future of information
Yeah.
and how libraries fit into all of that. So what we're going to do today is break down this really dense policy document,
Yes.
pull out those key insights that are actually useful for librarians.
Yeah.
Think of it like your cheat sheet for understanding, how this memo could actually affect your work.
Exactly. And the memo really lays out 3 core objectives, and honestly, every single one has some pretty significant implications for libraries. The first one is all about making sure that the U.S. stays on top when it comes to AI.
Okay, so U.S. leadership in the AI space.
Exactly. And that means we're going to be seeing big changes, in research funding, what kind of tools are being developed, and even, potential job opportunities, all things that are eventually going to have an impact on libraries and the people we serve.
Yeah, so it's like a ripple effect.
It is. It is.
What happens at that top level with AI is eventually going to make its way down into the communities that we work with.
Absolutely.
So that's the first objective. What about number 2?
So the second objective really focuses on using AI responsibly,
Okay.
especially when it comes to national security.
Right.
And that brings up some really important questions about, who has access to information, how these algorithms that are, driving a lot of this might be biased. And honestly, how can librarians help people understand these really complex issues?
So it's not just about the technology itself. It's also about the ethics of how we use AI.
Yes.
Especially in something as sensitive as national security. Makes sense.
Yes.
All right, and that brings us to objective number 3.
Yeah.
What's the memo have to say about that one?
This objective focuses on global AI governance.
Okay.
And the memo actually talks about working with other countries to come up with, international rules and regulations about AI, which could have a huge impact on information and how it's shared globally.
Right. And as librarians,
yes,
we're the gatekeepers of information.
We are.
So this is definitely something we need to pay attention to.
Absolutely.
You have a big role to play in making sure AI is used ethically.
We do.
All right, so we've got these 3 big objectives, and they all have big implications for libraries.
They do.
So let's start digging into some of the specifics.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's see what this memo actually says and how it might change the way we work.
So let's get into some of the more specific takeaways from the memo.
Yeah, let's dive into the details, see what practical insights we can actually glean from this policy document.
One of the things that really jumps out at me is the emphasis on attracting the best and brightest in AI from all over the world. They even talk about streamlining the visa process for people with AI skills to come and work in the U.S.
Oh, wow. So making it easier to bring that talent in.
Exactly. And I think this has some really big implications for libraries.
Yeah, how so?
Well, think about it. This influx of AI talent could lead to more specialized resources, expertise, becoming available. We could see partnerships between libraries and research institutions, even tech companies, opening up a whole new world of possibilities for, the people that we serve.
Yeah, what kinds of things are we talking about here?
I mean, imagine having access to cutting-edge AI tools and databases right in your local library.
But I did also notice that the memo talks about protecting U.S. AI developments from foreign threats.
Right, and that's a key part of it too.
Yeah.
They're very clear about the need to safeguard those advancements, which could lead to some interesting and potentially challenging situations for libraries.
In what way?
Well, it could mean, stricter rules about information sharing,
Right.
Especially when it comes to international collaborations or accessing global research. Libraries might actually face new hurdles in getting certain materials.
Oh, wow.
Or even, connecting with researchers in other countries.
Okay.
And we might even see, increased concerns about cybersecurity.
Yeah, that makes sense.
As protecting this sensitive AI data becomes, a top priority.
Right. So librarians are really going to need to be, extra vigilant about navigating this new information landscape.
Absolutely.
But on a more positive note,
yes,
the memo also emphasizes, this idea of safety, security, and trustworthiness.
Right.
when it comes to AI.
That's a big one.
And that seems like a really positive aspect.
It is.
Especially for libraries.
This is where I think librarians can really shine. We've always been, champions of reliable information,
Right.
accurate information, and now we have this chance to kind of extend that role into the world of AI. The memo actually outlines specific things for testing and mitigating risks associated with AI. And we can use that knowledge to educate our communities about responsible use.
So it's almost like instead of being intimidated by AI,
exactly,
we can be these trusted guides.
Yes.
Helping people understand
That's it.
both the benefits and the potential downsides.
Exactly. Help people develop critical thinking skills.
Right.
So they can actually evaluate AI content, spot biases, understand the ethical implications of this really powerful technology.
Right. And this kind of brings to mind another section that stood out to me in the memo, which was high-impact AI use.
Yes.
How can we make sure people actually understand how these systems work?
It's about empowering people. To ask the right questions, to demand transparency, to hold those in power accountable for using AI responsibly and ethically.
Right.
Aligns perfectly with the core values of librarianship.
Right.
We've always been advocates for open access, for intellectual freedom, for ethical practices. And now we have this opportunity to apply those principles to the world of AI.
It's like we're being called upon.
We are.
To step up and guide our communities through this new frontier. It's something that we need to be thinking about on that global level.
It's about fostering this sense of shared responsibility and working together to shape the future.
Right.
Where AI benefits everyone.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about the big picture of this AI memo, how it connects to, libraries and the work that we do. But let's get down to brass tacks here.
Yeah.
How can our listeners, you listening right now, how can you actually use this information in your library?
Yeah, I think one of the most important things to take away from all of this is this idea of being a guide in the age of AI. People are going to have questions about how it works, what it means for their jobs, how to even spot misinformation that's been created by AI. And libraries are really in this perfect position to be that trusted source.
Right. So it's not just about reacting to those questions.
No.
It's also about being proactive.
Exactly.
So what are some things that librarians can do? What are some concrete steps?
Yeah, well, think about creating workshops or even like book displays that focus on AI literacy. Partner with local schools or community groups to offer like presentations on, just the basics of AI and its ethical implications.
I love that.
Yeah, it's about empowering people, especially young people, to be those critical thinkers in this new world where AI is just becoming so influential.
And libraries can also be leaders in advocating for responsible AI use. You can host public forums or debates on AI ethics. Libraries have always been champions of transparency, access to information, and those values are even more crucial in the age of AI. And then another thing to think about is the role of libraries in workforce development. AI is changing the job market. People are going to need to learn new skills.
Absolutely.
And libraries can offer, workshops on coding, data analysis, even AI ethics. So to kind of wrap things up here, this memo might have seemed a little bit outside the realm of librarianship at first glance. But as we've seen, it actually has some really deep implications. There's no doubt about that. And libraries have this really crucial role to play in making sure that that change is for the better.